Alright, we're going to continue looking at poly modeling. This time we're going to look at low poly modeling, and the reason why we would want to do that is if we were making a model, and let's say that this model was going to go into a video game. A lot of times in games or in scenes that we're doing, we have a limited amount of polys we can use because we need either the speed of the game to be up, or we need a scene to include a lot of stuff. And if we have individual models that have a lot of polys, we'll end up slowing down max or even crashing max. So before we start, we're going to hit 7 on our keyboard, and that's going to show us how many polys, how many vertices, and the frames per second 3D Max is running in. I'm going to draw a sphere. I'm going to right click on our sphere, convert to editable poly so that we can start manipulating these. And the first thing we want to look at is right up here where we have our vertex, our edges, our borders, our polygons, and our elements. We're going to first select our edge, and that allows us to select these edges on the polygons, and we can come up here to the orthographic view and we can select by just clicking and holding and selecting all the way around, all the polys that go all the way around this. We can select an edge, and right over here to the right we can select ring, and ring will go all the way around it. So we have a lot of different ways to select polys. We can also select vertices the same way. So we're going to select our edge, and we just want one edge right now. And if we come right over here, we can remove that edge. And as long as we're careful about it, removing that edge really doesn't affect our shape. So we could potentially select every other edge on the sphere without affecting the shape a whole lot. I'm doing this by holding Control down. And if you'll watch, right now we have 511 polys. When we remove these edges, it drops down to 507 polys. So as we're doing this, we're actually removing these polys from the shape. Now, what if we have a shape that we want to add polys to? So I'm going to draw our box out, and we know that starting out when we draw our box, we can add polys by selecting our length segment, width segment, and height segment. But we're going to convert it to an editable poly, and at that point we lose that option. So we have several other options available to us now. The first one, and we're going to select our edge again, is we can come over here and click on ring, so we go all the way around our box. And we can click connect. And if you notice, it added these extra edges on here, and our poly count went up. I'll go backwards and then back. So we went from 24 to 32 polys. And then from here we can model by using extrusions or bevels. So for instance, over here where extrude is, click on this little square beside extrude, and we get this setting box here, and we can pull polys out. And when we get done, select this green check box, and we can move to the next one. And it'll keep our old setting, so as soon as we hit this again, it'll extrude this out as much as extruded this one out, unless we change it here. Alright, so let's pick a different shape. going to go for a cylinder. Convert to editable poly. And then from here, we can select this cut tool. What this allows us to do is it allows us to kind of draw in polys into the top of this. So we're going to start with this vertex up here, and you can see it's trying to grab onto another one. We'll click, it's going to add that vertex in the middle of that box there, and then I can add as I go. And notice my poly count as I'm doing this. And then when I get done with what I want to do, I can just right click and it'll stop that cutting. And from here we can also connect our vertices. So if I have this vertex and I'm going to select two vertices here by hitting Control, and I can click on Connect, and it's going to connect those vertices together. So again, select and select and connect. Alright, so we're gonna clean this up a little bit. And then from here we have faces, just like we did before, and we can extrude those faces out and make some pretty complex models by adding relatively small amounts of polys.